Hi everyone, here I am back in the studio, and it's been a few days since I did a video, but a lot's been going on, and I want to probably try to do about 2 or 3 videos a week. Not so many that I get tired of doing videos, and not so many that you get tired of me doing videos. So just a few, a week to update people on what I'm working on and give some feedback on new techniques that I'm using, and hopefully this can be helpful to anyone else who's working on some of the same things that I'm working on, and maybe people can give me some advice, because I'm going to be asking for some advice today on a couple of things that I'm struggling with. Just some procedure stuff that I'm working my way through right now while burning these hats, because I've only been at burning hats for about 2-3 months now, so I'm a novice at this. Even though I've been an artist my whole life, this is new to me. So whenever we're learning something new, we need feedback too. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about roses. And while I've been drawing roses for years and years, I had never burned a rose until last month when I went to Terlingua. I was burning on the hats, and someone asked me to burn a rose while I was down there. And so I was kind of taken aback because I had never burned one before, even though I'd drawn them before. So it went really well, and I was able to complete it just fine, and I worried for nothing. But so the bottom line is, if you can draw a rose, you can burn a rose pretty easily. And it went really well. So today we're going to talk about roses and kind of what I do to burn roses. But there are a couple of things that I'm challenging myself with today, because I believe in challenging yourself. Now, last time what we talked about was the fact that I use a wood burner. Oops, this is caught. I use a wood burner with 2 tips. It has one tip for the outline, and it has another tip for shading. So I've already used the tip for the outlining to create my outline of my rose. Now, my challenge today is that it goes past the crown into the brim. See that? So I need to work along this ridge here, this crease. That's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I did some of that on the other side the last video when I was working on the sunflower, but I was primarily using the tip for the lines, and I was using a little bit of the shading tip on this side. But today I'm gonna be using the shading tip on this side. And I'm not sure if I'll get all the way through this rose today during the video, but I'm gonna try to do my best on it. So we're gonna be talking about light and value. Again, my burner is gonna be set all the way on the lowest setting for this, because this fabric is really sensitive. This is the faux leather suede material that I was talking about. It's kind of a velour feel. I really like the way it feels. I really love the way it burns. It's got a great texture to it. And I haven't worked my way up to suede, actual suede yet, or leather. It's coming probably after the new year. I've just got way too many irons on the fire, and I'm learning a lot of new things right now. So I haven't put that one on the plate. So after the new year, a lot more things are coming. Speaking of after the new year, before we get started burning, this year, my podcast, Echoes in the Gallery, so many things were going on this year, personally and professionally, that had to be taken off the plate. Now, if you don't know what Echoes in the Gallery is, it's a book that I've been writing for about 2 years. And it's just my own love fest, my own love project, my own passion project. It's an art mystery, and I love it. It's my own fictitious art crime mystery, and I really love the characters. But this year was it was filled with a lot of challenges, good challenges, but just something had to be taken off the plate, and it ended up being Echoes in the Gallery. So the exciting news is that after the new year, I'm back in the studio. I'm going to be recording, excuse me. I'm going to be recording more episodes of Echoes in the Gallery, and I'm shooting to have new episodes in January. So we're going to start off in volume 2, because that's where we left off, in volume 2, and I'd like to have volume 3 put out by the spring. So I'm really excited about this, and please stay tuned. Don't give up on me just yet. And thank you for those of you who have been so patient with Echoes in the Gallery. A lot of life challenges this year, but it's going great. So, okay, I'm going to now adjust my camera and get it set where I want it, and I will be right back. Okay. Okay, so while we're burning, there's a lot of things to think about. Our outlines here are here for guiding, obviously. They're here to guide us and give us some parameters. I like to start on roses. I like to start right up against the petals. And I like to start at the outside and work my way into the center. I'm sure it works differently for everyone. Some people might want to start at the center and work their way out. I am quite sure it's a personal preference. But I personally like to start at the outside and work my way in. This dark outline on the outside, I'm thinking of doing something much different with this hat and do some shading coming out from the outside when it's all done. I have not made that decision yet, but let's get to burning on the outside here on these petals around here. And so make sure everybody can see. I'm still not used to using this camera set up this way. I have to constantly check. So when I'm burning, this setup is gonna kind of drive me crazy a little bit. Okay, so when I'm burning, I like to go pretty slow, light touches, like I said. And that is something that took me a long time to kind of figure out because I am traditionally a painter. And also, when I first started burning, I was burning on wood. I was burning on cedar and oak and mesquite. Now, if you burned on mesquite, you know how hard of a wood that is. It is really hard. So you see I've kind of made a line here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to wait for that to make sure it's dry all the way. Then I'm going to come feather it out a little bit. So otherwise what I'm going to do is I'm going to just smear it. And this will add a little bit of depth. Burning does teach you patience. If you didn't have patience before you started burning, you'll have patience from burning. Okay, so I've been using the tip so far. I'm gonna switch a little bit. And can you see what I'm doing? I have to constantly remind myself that I'm using a camera. I'm going to switch a little bit and I'm going to use the side. Kind of gets a little bit more of a gradient. Oops, that got too dark. Sometimes what you can do though, if that happens, you can go in later and you can kind of create a little dimple or something in the petal. And that's okay. Like the late great Bob Ross says, happy accidents, right? They do happen. And sometimes, a lot of times, what'll happen is you'll know that it's there, but a lot of people won't know it's there. Well, you know, because I just told you. But see what I mean about starting on the outside and working your way in. And actually, and see, now that I have let that dry and come back to it, I can feather over it with the side and create more of a gradient. But I'm still running into a little bit of trouble right here, if you can see what I mean, right here where that divot is. So if anyone has any suggestions here of this spot, I am just all ears because I am struggling a little bit here and I don't know what to do. There, that is my struggle spot so far. I actually didn't intend for this rose to be this big when I sketched it out. I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. I was looking for a way to fill up the hat, but I really didn't intend for this one rose to be this big. I think it'll look good when it's done, but I didn't intend for it to be this big. I also have to do this differently than I do when I'm working on wood, because when I'm working on wood, I tend to use the tool in more of a circular motion. And when I'm working on this material, I tend to use more of a swiping sort of motion. I notice. I don't use the circular motion so much. It's an interesting contrast. Oops, I think something is going on upstairs. Someone's home, I think. Still see? I think so. Okay. So while I'm working my way around the rose, I have to be careful. See how I'm trying to get on the inside? I don't need to do that yet. I need to keep working outside to the inside. Sometimes I try to get in a hurry, especially when I'm doing these videos, because I'm not used to working on camera. I'm not used to that. So I'm still kind of getting used to that. I've done a lot of live painting before, like painting in front of crowds. I've done a lot of that, but I just haven't done that much like on camera. I've done a lot of television interviews and that kind of stuff, but as far as painting on camera, I just haven't done a lot of it. So thanks for letting me learn how to do this with you. So if you notice, while I'm going around the rose, every once in a while what I do is I just step back and kind of look at it. I'm just going to look at it and see if it's going where I want it to. And if you start getting frustrated with one side, go to the other side. Just go to the other side. Right now, I'm kind of trying to avoid this other side because I'm not looking forward to working there. I'm just not. Ooh, can you see it? Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this at all. I'm just not. But, you know, gotta do it eventually. I don't know that I'll get all the way around this today, but maybe. Sometimes I stop and I have to figure out where I want to go next. What spot I want to work on next. And sometimes I'm not comfortable working from the angle I'm working at. Like right now, I'm not used to working from this angle because of the camera, but I've got to kind of work this way because of the camera. But that's okay, we'll make it work. And I think this side is going to be harder than the other side. I didn't have as much information over here as I do on this side to fill in that crease. So yeah, this crease is going to be just super, super tough to fill in. I might just try not to avoid it, but I'm kind of avoiding it, aren't I? Again, like, I'm serious. If anybody has any recommendations, because I don't want to mess up the hat by folding it over too much to make it flat to get to that point. And I also feel like I'm pressing down more than I want to right now. I feel like I'm making that a little bit darker than I want to. Or maybe I'm just overthinking the whole thing. That's completely possible. I do that a lot, but I think that artists in general kind of do that. My husband is always telling me that. He's like, Susan, you're just overthinking it. So I'm also looking for shops around Central Texas to put my hats in. I'm looking for boutiques, beauty salons, those sorts of things. So if anyone is interested in putting my hats in their beauty salons, please reach out. I think it would be a great fit. So an interesting thing happened while I was interlingua burning hats. I've only had this happen once. I actually burned all the way through the fabric. I had it up too high and I was trying to be clever with a different tip. I really like this spoon-shaped tip. I think I talked to you guys about that last time. I really enjoy this one. It's just what I'm comfortable with. And I just tried something else and I burned all the way through the fabric on top. So what I did was I scarred up the top crown of the head really good. And then I took some black paint and I feathered it out on top and made it look really rustic because I'd already done the entire design around, it was some pheasant feathers all the way around the hat. So I roughed it up really much, a lot on top, a whole bunch. And then I put some black paint and made it look really charred, like it was supposed to be that way. And then I ended up selling the hat 5 minutes later. Someone liked it just like that. So even if you mess up, there are ways to make it work. So don't give up. Even if you think the hat is unsalvageable, don't give up because you can usually fix it. Now, that particular hat was supposed to be a commission for someone. So that hat did not go to the person who had commissioned the hat. I ended up doing another hat for that lady. I actually burned the pheasant feather, that's really hard to say. The pheasant feather design, I ended up burning that particular design 3 times because it became really popular down there in Terlingua. when I was there. That was really fun. You're going to hear me talk about Terlingua a lot. You're probably going to get sick of hearing about it. And I don't care, that's fine, because I really love it down there. And it's one of just my favorite places. It's the closest you can get to heaven in Texas. Okay, and this is another one of those how's it looking time. So let me take it away and look at it. It's looking okay. It's looking okay. I kind of need some lighter values in here. But I think I can come in and do it with a different tip. I also think I'm a little nervous because I'm working on camera. But that's okay. It's still a pretty good hat. And I know I'll get less nervous as I put more videos out and get used to this. Man, that spot is just so tough. I'll get a lot more used to being on camera, working on camera. But you know how it is, the more you do something, the more you get used to it. I love the way this feels going across this fabric. See there, I did it again. I tried to get really close to the middle. I try to skip sometimes. And when you get started with this, if you're someone who's just starting this, give yourself some grace. Like, there are a lot of great places on Amazon to get hats for only a few dollars each. They're great to practice on, and give yourself a lot of grace. If you mess up, so what? No one is going to tell on you. No one is going to take away your birthday. Just give it a whirl, try it out, see if you like it. And like I said last time, I got started on this with a little Dremel soldering iron. It is a perfectly acceptable way to wood burn or hat burn. Now, okay, let me rephrase that, because I think the Dremel soldering iron would be really challenging to use for hat burning. I do think it would be challenging for hat burning because the temperature control is really, it's hard to control the temperature. Like even this one, and as much as I love this burner, this one is really almost too hot to do this with. Almost. Okay, I want to do some more shading on this rose, but I'm gonna go ahead, for the sake of argument, since this video is going so long already, I'm gonna go ahead and put the leaves in, and I'm gonna come back and work on the rose later. Now, notice how dark I'm getting next to the veins. I do that on purpose. I want that to look darker underneath the rose. Then I'm going to bring that shading out. And again, I'm letting that fabric dry a little bit. Notice how much it's smoking. Letting that fabric dry a little bit before I go back over it. Because otherwise, I'm just going to smear it. And I'm using the side which is what I want to do kind of in here a little bit more. But again, for the sake of time, I'm just gonna go ahead and shade a little bit. Okay, let's go over here. I'm gonna make this one darker because this leaf is underneath this leaf. Trying not to get rid of all these veins, and I'll come in here and do a little more shading on these veins. So this is not the last time you're going to see this hat because I'm going to keep adding to it. And I'll show you, like when I come back in here and do some more shading, I'll show you what I did to that after we're done visiting today. But this kind of gives you a good idea of the foundation of a rose and how to get started with it. Again, just pick up the tool and get started. Like I said, no one is stopping you except for you. And, you know, if you know how to draw, you can burn. If you don't know how to draw, take some drawing lessons. You know, there's a lot of great tutorials on YouTube. And there's nothing to keep you from doing it. It is never too late to learn. And I highly recommend it. I highly recommend learning to draw for everybody, just because it's a fun activity. It is something that is calming, and it is it just adds something to your soul. Okay, so if you remember last time, and this is what I'm going to leave you on. If you remember last time, I burned this out. I burned this black. So that is something that I'm going to do over here as well. And I'm just going to burn this entire area out. And some people kind of get freaked out when I do this. Like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you burning all that out? Well, I'm going to burn around some of it. See, I don't want to get rid of all of this because I've got these lovely little designs here. So I don't want to burn everything, but I really kind of like the idea of having that dark background. And I'm gonna turn up my burner a little bit for this. I can turn it up a little bit now. And it's gonna make those sunflowers stand out a lot more. It's just gonna make them pop. Oh, I am going so long today. And I'm not even done with this hat yet. So this kind of tells you how long and how much I have involved in some of these hats. Some people think, oh, well, you know, there's not much involved in them. No, there really is. Some of them don't take very long at all. But some of them, like this one, I'm gonna have a few hours in this thing by the time it's all said and done. And, you know, I still have to go back after we're done today and do some shading on it and do some refining on just what I've already done. It needs some more work, just on the work that's already done. The work that's already done isn't finished yet. So keep that in mind, that these are works of art that kind of are not done yet. Okay, there we go. That's gonna look nice. And this fabric burns so nicely. The texture, hopefully you can see the texture on this. The texture just burns great. It feels great. That's what I meant. Sorry. The texture, when it burns, it just feels so great. People love running their hands over it. It just it adds something extra to the whole experience of the hat. So this is, I could have switched to a larger tip for this part, but because this is a little bit monotonous and time consuming, this part, but I just, again, I really do love this particular wire tip. It's just my favorite. And the last time I used one of the larger wire tips on these felt hats, it was when I had my mishap with the material and I burned right through the material. So I'm a little gun shy of using the larger wires on the hats right now. I'm not saying that I'll never use them again. I'm just saying that right now I'm a little gun shy of using the larger wire, and I just prefer to use this size wire right now. It's my comfort zone. And I'm totally gonna have to clean this wire because if you look at that, it has a ton of material on it. But we're almost done for the day. And if there's something you would like to see me add to this, please comment, give me a shout out in the comment section and let me know what you'd like to see me add to this particular hat, because I'm open for suggestions. We've still got a lot of room on this one. I'm not going to add anything else until we meet again. I'm not sure when I'm going to do the next video, so I'm not going to make any false promises. Okay, let me switch my camera angle and I will be right back. Okay, so we got a lot done on this today. It is looking good. Although that rose did turn out quite enormous, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It is rather large, but I don't hate it. Okay, so like I said, if there's something you would like to see me add to this, please give me a comment in the comment section and let me know. Let me know what you would like to see on this. I'm not going to add anything to it before we see each other again, but I will be, like I said, be refining some of the shading, making it a little more gradient. Definitely on the rose, I need to come in here and do a little refining there. But, like I said, get out there, start drawing, start doing some wood burning, whatever your passion is, get out there and do it. And if you are someone who has a solution to this problem, let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give me a big thumbs up, and I hope you like and subscribe. And have a beautiful day. Stay safe and love each other. Bye.